Many Hollywood stars from the 70s and 80s are now household names. By the way, Kristy Nichols was another popular star from that time. Where did the actress disappear to? Her fans were left wondering when she abruptly faded from sight. She actually retired more than 2 decades ago, and now Kristy McNichols is coming forward to explain what transpired during that time. Hence, if you are interested in learning more, do not stop watching. But first, let's go back to the beginning and discuss the former actress's modest origins before we address the questions discussed before. Kristina Ann McNichol was born to James and Carolyn McNichol on September 11, 1962. Along with her younger brother Tommy and older brother Jimmy, who had an auxiliary role, she was the middle child of 3 siblings. She came from a family of regular folks, since her father left them when they were young, and her mother had to perform odd jobs to help support them while her father was a carpenter. Her mom was an extra in a film in addition to being a secretary and a cosmetic seller. From her early days co-starring with her brother Jimmy in advertisements, McNichol eventually landed her own gigs, which began with guest appearances and led to series. Starsky and Hutch, The Bionic Woman, and Love, American Style are among her previous works. She has also worked on action shows and science fiction adventures. In 1974, in the short-lived drama Apple's Way, she broke through and became a series regular for the first time. Thanks to her natural abilities, McNichol's breakthrough role came quickly. She played Letitia Buddy Lawrence on the 1976 to 1980 drama series Family. The show follows a middle-class California couple as they raise their 3 children. Despite its seeming lack of complexity, the show became a smash hit because it depicted a normal family's struggles and triumphs and struck a chord with viewers. In an interview with the Daily Journal, she discussed how much she identifies with her character Buddy and how she has transformed him into her own self, expressing how much she enjoyed playing the role. James Broderick and Sada Thompson were among the Hollywood heavyweights whom McNichol appeared alongside. Despite being the rookie to the ensemble, her performance was so good that she received Best Supporting Actress in a Drama Series nominations for 1977 to 1979, a streak that continued until 1979. Additionally, the actress was nominated for an Emmy in 1980 for her role as the lead in a drama series. Kristy McNichol's career took off after that. She collaborated with the musical pair on several occasions, including the 1977 television special The Carpenters at Christmas. After that, in an effort to get their names out there, she and her brother Jimmy released an album for RCA Records called Kristy and Jimmy McNichol. 2 of the album's singles, He's So Fine and Page by Page, were huge hits. The latter peaked at number 70 on Billboard. Not long after her stage career ended, the actress decided to try her hand at film. Her first alleged credited appearance was in the 1977 American thriller Black Sunday, although her portions were removed. The End, a 1978 black comedy starring McNichol, Burt Reynolds, and Sally Field, is a blessing in disguise, however. The 1980 coming-of-age film Little Darlings has to be considered one of McNichol's finest performances. She received praise for her performance as Angel Bright, which she shared with Tatum O'Neal, Cynthia Nixon, and Matt Dillon. It was quite unusual for youngsters like her to earn 6 figures acting in a film, but that same year she was featured in George's The Night the Lights Went Out. What this does prove, if anything, is how talented and valuable McNichol was as an artist. Kristy McNichols clearly has a bright future ahead of her, what with all these accomplishments to her name. The actress stepped away from the spotlight at the last possible moment, shocking everyone. Why would she have taken such decision? Find out by continuing to watch. Hollywood may be a lovely place, but it's not always a bed of roses, particularly for young actors and actresses just starting out. For example, Kristy McNichol, she was oblivious to the fact that her health was suffering due to the many things she battled. Being in the spotlight at such a young age put the actress, like most famous people, under a lot of pressure. The public's high expectations and her frequent, if not daily, exposure to them added unnecessary stress to her already heavy load. Moreover, she had a hard time accepting herself as a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer person during a time when the supportive LGBTQ community was much smaller. In an interview with People published in 1989, McNichols finally opened up about what happened to her when the family series ended. One of the most pervasive problems in Hollywood is the persistence of sexual favors. At an interview with People, she explained how she was stunned, wounded, and disillusioned after experiencing a traumatic event at a place that was meant to be a safe haven for her. It all started when she was a teenager called to a meeting in the director's trailer during lunchtime. Instead of welcoming the young McNichol with open arms, she recalled his terrible attempts at seduction, which ran counter to her original intentions. According to McNichol, she believed he was a friend. "I had faith in this individual. All of a sudden he had his arms around me and was dragging me close. I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. Even though I was young, I wasn't stupid enough to not tell them to stop touching me. The moment I stepped foot in his trailer, I departed. Even though she managed to get away, the event truly terrified her and caused her to doubt many things. After asking herself many probing questions about the business and her life in general, she eventually came to the realization that she didn't like the answer. Additionally, this encounter set in motion the chain reaction of events that would eventually lead to her breakdown and subsequent professional problems. Although the film's subject matter is generally lighthearted, there was a great deal of behind-the-scenes action in the 1984 comedy drama Just the Way You Are, in which the actress starred. In the film, she plays a disabled musician who, like the actress, hides her leg brace while on holiday in the French Alps. 2 years prior, in 1982, the problem began when she arrived at the airport, hesitant to travel to Europe. This was particularly true given that she had begun to experience symptoms of melancholy and self-doubt, as if she were about to have a nervous breakdown. On the way to the airport, she had already expressed her feelings about the project to her manager, recalling in a trembling voice how she felt she shouldn't be involved in this film. Though the rest of the squad reassured her that they would succeed, the two of them couldn't agree. McNichol describes how, despite her best efforts and pleadings, no one paid attention to her because she was a suffering individual. The young actress was already perplexed before this. Word got out. After traveling to the set, McNichol endured 5 weeks of filming under the direction of Edward Molinaro, a director who speaks only broken English. Even though they tried their best, the production crew just couldn't put themselves in the actress's shoes and comprehend her ordeal. They ultimately decided to employ a massage in hopes that she would feel better from her growing worry. Despite her inability to resolve her personal issues, McNichol was able to quickly put on a breathtaking performance, the skill she had honed throughout her career. When the squad calls roll, she immediately summons the energy to make a scene as she shared with others. The moment they yell cut, though, the young actress goes back to being her nervous, upset self. She went to extreme lengths, even referring to herself as a lonely, solitary creature in the night. Production went on as scheduled despite her deteriorating mental state, which compounded her problems even further. While they were filming in France, she says she was completely out of control to the point that she couldn't eat or sleep. According to McNichol, she had bizarre dreams and sobbed constantly when she was able to sleep, which was very rare. The actress's weight plummeted to an alarming 96 lbs as a result of her crippling anxiety and constant crying that came with living in such a condition. She was so overwhelmed by her emotions that she trembled like a leaf at all times. When she wasn't sobbing, she was either puzzled or freaked out. In the end, she stated that shooting the film was the most challenging experience of her life. At last, she saw a way out of her jam, a 2-week Christmas vacation, and made her way back to California. Upon returning home, she sought advice from a friend on what to do next. This acquaintance subsequently referred her to a psychiatrist who specialized in treating adolescents with emotional disorders. The patient's irrational fury was one of the things the doctor noted about her. She claimed ignorance of the intense agony she was experiencing, but the doctor reassured her that such discomfort was inevitable and that she shouldn't be alarmed. No one else had mentioned that, but hearing him say it helped McNichol feel better, she claimed. As a result of her illness, the actress's doctor also told her she couldn't go back to filming. As a result, McNichol broke her own rule. Even though she came back a year later to wrap up filming, she first declined to return to work. Rumors regarding her, however, had already begun to circulate at that point. A lot of people think she's manic depressive, others think she was an alcoholic, and some think she was a drug addict. A chemical imbalance, according to the studio's official statement, was the fuel that ignited the fire which McNichol was already experiencing. She was able to clear her name and disprove the claims in her interview with People. Neither alcohol nor lithium has affected her manic depressive symptoms. She has never been addicted to drugs or alcohol. But McNichol did confess to having a few drinks in the past. While she does have some issues, they are not related to those things. A problem exists, the actress says, despite the fact that she has cleansed her name of all these horrible falsehoods. If you're interested in learning more about this, then you should keep watching. Kristy McNichol determined to end the speculation once and for all by being open about her problem and emotional breakdown, a delayed reaction to the immense pressure she felt as a child star. In her narrative, McNichol describes how she had been working and taking on responsibilities since she was a little girl. She was already living the adult life like many child stars and never got to experience being a child. With the help of her doctor and the encouragement of her loved ones, the actress began a gradual but steady recovery during her getaway to California. In order to be there for her more personally, her older brother Jimmy even moved in with her. McNichol began rigorous psychotherapy in an effort to identify and resolve the underlying issues that had contributed to her breakdown. The treatment session, she said, was like being in a dream, weird and unreal. It sounded terrifying and odd. The pressure to mature at a young age had its roots in her formative years. In the wake of her parents' divorce when she was a little girl, she became Jimmy and Kristy's manager and sought out acting jobs for them. In her account, young McNichol played the role of mother and her mother the role of kid. While everyone else was having fun, it was little Kristy who was the calm one and responsible for cleaning the house. Even while filming Family as Buddy, she maintained this demeanor. After that, I was like a little grown up, says McNichol. Every day I would take a little briefcase with me to the office. The way I grew up was so backwards, I swear. Kris did it differently from the way most kids do it. Dina Manoff, who co-stars with her on the show, agrees, going so far as to mention that the actor was the most mature child she had ever encountered on work. She wanted to satisfy everyone, which made her an overachiever, which only made matters worse. The word no isn't in McNichol's vocabulary because she tries to be nice to everyone, especially her mom. McNichol continued by saying that her mother's dream job has always been acting. She began to believe that her mother's dissatisfaction with her acting career was being forced upon her. Even though it brought joy to her mother, McNichol didn't know it was making her unhappy until she was already far into her career. Her on-screen mother, Sada Thompson, was another co-star who remarked on McNichol's poise. The second person continued by saying that McNichol didn't appear to be bothered by the expectations placed on her as a child actress. But as McNichol grew older, it started to show. She longed to relive her youth at last, and her juvenile behavior began after she turned 18. The emotional pressures McNichol felt led her to declare her desire to remain a kid at the age of 18, rather than to become a lady. She lost a lot of money due to a string of poor business mistakes that stemmed from her immature behavior, which had an immediate impact on her career. As she was on the verge of entering maturity, she had the epiphany that she was completely unraveling. Realizing that you could have prevented everything from happening if you had known makes the realization all the more painful, and have the power to infuriate you, the actress admitted frankly. A culmination occurred. Every single setback and triumph in my professional life. Coming from a broken home, never having attended school, missing out on the prom, and constantly being told what to do without any input from me all add up to a lack of a childhood. Everyone assumes I was high, but when you're young, it's enough to drive you crazy. She got back up and decided to try something new, which is a blessing. The comedic film Empty Nest was her subsequent project of choice. She just wanted to try something new and felt like she'd had enough drama. The studio, however, wanted to conduct an emotional check on McNichol before offering her the part. They were aware of her notorious reputation from that time. Her history was checked by Paul Witt, the show's TV co-executive producer. Thankfully, all the tests came back negative. Since the actress had never filmed a sitcom or worked in front of a studio audience before, she had to overcome her phobia of filming during the first few episodes. None of her co-stars noticed that she was nervous during filming the pilot episodes, thus her acting skills really came in handy in masking her dread. Thanks to the financial success of Empty Nest, McNichol's name was once again in the spotlight, and she went on to star in more films. Many famous people eagerly anticipate their retirement years, when they will finally have the opportunity to pursue their passion projects. Also, they have a hard time with privacy, so it's a relief that they are no longer followed around by cameras. After years of struggling with her own mental health and personal concerns, McNichol chose to retire from acting in 1992. It was time for her to portray the role that mattered most to her, according to a detailed statement she published in 2001 through her publicist. According to McNichol, it has been the most beneficial experience of his life, as stated in the letter. Many of my admirers are sad that I'm not performing right now. But other people might not understand that what I'm going through right now is critical to my own pleasure and well-being. Nevertheless, Kristy McNichol courageously re-engaged with the media, and rightfully so. Be sure to remain tuned if you would like to know more details about it. When most famous people step away from the limelight, they really do it disappearing into oblivion. Not Kristy McNichol, though. The actress came back into the public eye in 2012 after a 2-decade relationship with Marty Allen became public knowledge. For McNichol, speaking out would have been a way to help others who, like her, have experienced bullying or exclusion because of their sexuality. The family actress is deeply distressed by the issue of bullying children, according to her publicist Jeff Ballard. Representing McNichol, Ballard stated that the actress hoped her coming out would assist disadvantaged youth and that she hoped to be of service to those who identify as LGBTQ. She is content to just live her life as an ordinary person, so sadly for her fans, she has no intention of ever making a comeback to Hollywood or television. But it was obvious that the former actress belonged in the music industry. She decided to join the choir after enrolling in a music program at Los Angeles Valley College in 2011. On the side, she got involved with the LAVC Foundation, which helps fund the music program and runs it. It would be the most heartbreaking thing ever if they had to cut the music program because of budget cuts, she said in an interview from 2015. She was that committed to it. On top of that, McNichol is determined to keep music alive because she thinks it has a positive impact on young people. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and use the like button. That way you won't miss any of our future updates. Keep shining until then.